Hello everybody, Israel Epstein here. This is our aquaponics update for weeks 18, 19, and 20. So you can see that we're a little bit behind, and I'm going to try to get up on this, but we've been very busy here at the recording studio and loading and shooting and business in general. So I'll show you the update for week 18, 19, and 20 on the aquaponics system. You can see that Captain Smythe has his telescope set up so that we can, this is one of his telescopes, a cheaper one, kind of checking out some stuff, maybe be looking for comet ice on, but we've had so much clouds here lately that you can't see it in the morning when the sun is coming up, so we'll check that out later. But you can check this out. I'm kind of walking up on it without even showing you. We've covered the whole kit and caboodle here with plastic, and it definitely raised the temperature inside a good 10 degrees or more. So that's been really nice. It's because it's been getting colder. The temperature in here is nice and warm. This fish tank with the heaters in there keeping the water at about 80 degrees is acting like a nice heat sink. I did finally overcome the aphids with some Azomax and some neem oil extract that I got from Nate's Story on Grow Bright Agritech. Stuff seems to work really well. It's knocked out the aphids. They did do a number on this stuff. It's kind of been beat to heck and back, but it is still alive, and we do have new growth coming back out. So we have growth coming back. We are hoping that it's going to be okay. There still are some fruits, cantaloupes hanging on here. I believe our cucumbers died off, just that time of year got cold. So I pulled them out of this grow bed number 5 and planted some romaine lettuce in this one, and as you can see, it's coming up rather nicely. It's coming up real fast, in fact, so I might even do some time-lapse footage to show you guys as this stuff just busts loose and grows really fast. This bed here is the one that's still holding on to the cantaloupes, and we're trying to get those plants to recover. As I said, this bed had pretty much had some old lettuce in it that was dying, and I had been feeding it to the fish. But I put in some bib lettuce in here in this one, so it's actually growing really well. And I think Johnson took some tomato seeds from a tomato that we were eating one day and just threw them in there to see what would happen, and they are actually growing as well. So that's doing really well. In grow bed number 2, our peppers are still growing and doing pretty good. We've got 3 or 4 or 5 peppers on there. Our zucchini plant is still growing a lot. It's just a jumbled mess inside there, but it's growing lots of stuff inside there. Grow bed number 6 that we added is just exploded. I mean, you can see here that our lettuce is just doing fabulous. Even that tomato part of that plant that I think I mentioned, the wind snapped it off. A strong wind came through here and snapped our tomato plant off. I just took the part that busted off and stuck it in the ground, stuck it in the grow bed, and it came back. It's still growing. So that's really good testimony about the ability of this stuff to just continue growth. Our bib lettuce in the back there is actually still doing really well also. The onions that we have growing here in the center, these yellow onions, are still doing really well. Here's some more of those little seeds that Captain Smith put down from a tomato he was eating. It's growing there as well. Our chives over here on the side are still hanging in there and doing pretty good. The cabbage is looking really good, and it's starting to form those little cabbage heads down inside there where they curl in on themselves and begin to form the cabbage ball. It's doing really good. I mean, look at this broccoli plant here. It's doing really nice. We're kind of watching down here in the center of the broccoli plant to see if we get some broccoli heads growing. This tomato has just exploded, and there's a ton of tomato buds that are coming out everywhere. So we got all kinds of tomatoes that are going to be growing on this thing. Looking really good. As I said before, this plant up here probably had some powdery mildew or some kind of bacteria on it. I did spray it recently with a diluted solution of milk and water, which I had heard does a good job of kind of combating you know, bacteria or powdery mildew type of fungus. So we're hoping that cantaloupe plant will make it. We'll see. It does appear to be putting out some new growth, like I said, so we'll see how it does. Down in here, this is actually just a part of this other tomato plant that just came off the side here through one of the shoots and decided to create a new plant over here. It's kind of interesting. The broccoli that we have in this first bed is also doing pretty well. It's not doing quite as well as the one in grow bed number 6 over there that I just showed you. But you can see down in here on our zucchini plant, it is got lots and lots of growth, but not too much actual zucchinis. There are some in there. They're kind of harder to see. But I would say everything is doing really well. And I wanted to also bring up a problem that I had with the fish here lately. I noticed a nitrite spike. I kind of get a little bit of a nitrite spike. The nitrites went up to about between 1 and 2 parts per million, which was not good. It's getting a little toxic for them. So I went through and cleaned out all the pipes. You can see that these pipes used to be totally caked with fish poop. They're actually much cleaner now. So I cleaned out all the pipes and let the water run through here. I took the screens off of the pump so that they would, you know, suck solids out of there, and then that worked and got that nitrites down to about 0.25 parts per million. I would have liked to seen it at 0. So what I did today was I actually drained this tank down to about 1/4 full, just for a couple of minutes, and then put in all the fresh new water that I had in storage that had been, you know, releasing its chlorine gas and stuff. It was ready to go. So I dumped in all fresh new water, about a 3/4 water change, and I'm going to let that sit overnight and kind of settle a bit. It was, you know, when I dumped all that fresh water in here, it stirred up some of the soot and, you know, stuff that was attached to the bottoms and whatnot, but it actually has cleared up very nicely now. And I'll test it again for nitrites tomorrow to see. I did clean out, like I said, the pipes not only up above but down below, all the pipes down below. You know, got them all cleaned out, and used every method possible to clean out as much fish solids as I could, and then did a 3/4 water change. So we're going to see tomorrow. We'll test our nitrites. I anticipate that it'll probably look pretty good. But other than that, I did have to, I stopped feeding the fish for 2 days, and you know, did a thorough cleaning so that they wouldn't create any more waste. But the ammonia stuck pretty good. It's between 0 and 0.25 parts per million, but the nitrites are, you know, 0.25 parts per million. Just wanted to get those down. So we're looking pretty good. Nothing dangerous as of right now, but with that water change, check it again tomorrow. It should be looking pretty good. So this is weeks 18, 19, and 20. I would say some excellent success on this side, and not so good success with these and the bugs that got them, and, you know, possibly the cold. There's also some talk around here about us moving this thing because we have a home that is facing north. We're not getting a whole lot of sunshine on this area of the yard pretty much at all during the day, and so we're contemplating moving the whole system. I know that would be a giant pain in the butt, over against this wall, so that we would get a considerable amount more sunlight year-round. So that might be a project in itself, but that's certainly something that we're thinking about to maximize our sunlight. You can always shade it during the summertime, but when wintertime comes, this, you know, this big house and this big tree are just totally taken up all of our sunshine, and we have hardly none. So I have a feeling that perhaps because the sun is coming across this way in the afternoons, that this half, or this section of the grow bed, this left half, is getting most of the sunshine, and that is why inside there you've got a tremendous amount of growth on the left hand side and not hardly any on the right. So that's another possibility that we're looking at. But the stuff that I put here in the ground has basically begun to die off. Not doing so well. I mean, I got a harvest out of it and it's okay, but the ground stuff was not doing as well as the aquaponics stuff. My corn I planted too late in the year, and it began to go to, it thought harvest time was here, but it really hadn't matured in the ear. It just kind of, little tiny 2 to 3 inch pieces of corn. I didn't have a chance to fully grow out, so we had to, let that one go bye-bye. We'll replant them earlier in the season next time. The grapes are, I see the birds finally got a hold of these grapes and decided to eat the ones that were hanging there. But we are still experiencing some really good growth. We got lots of new growth on this vine that's kind of growing like crazy. What are you talking about? You got something to say? What is it? What are you talking about? You got something you want to say? The carrots are doing really well. The goji berries that are in that pot right there are also doing really well and continuing to grow. So we're hanging in there and doing pretty good, just trying to keep things warm for winter time and keep the fish warm and keep everything alive, and we'll see. It's starting to get a little colder. Winter is actually finally getting here. We had 90 degrees a couple of times here at the end of November, which is pretty unusual, kind of warm for this season. But it is definitely getting colder. Everything seems to be doing pretty well though, and I will keep you up to date in the coming weeks on what is happening around here with this system, and we hope that you guys are getting ready to celebrate Hanukkah and the Feast of Dedication, and may you dedicate yourselves to the Lord our God and have a great time. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.